Alright, we're going to talk about restringing the bass. First thing I want to talk about is tension. You want to keep the tension the same, especially if you got the bass set up. If you just go ahead and cut them all off, especially if they're all at tension, like they're all tuned up, and you just kind of get, and you just go through and snap them, then the truss rod on the inside will bend, because that's a tension change that's too quick. If you have to take every string off, I would recommend detuning for a while. Gradually detuning, and then you can take them off if you're going to be cleaning them, or boiling them like I just did. Or if you're just changing the pickups or something, I would recommend that you don't just kind of detune every single one, but detune one, wait a minute, detune another, wait a minute, gradually detune each one. And if you're restringing it, I recommend doing it one string at a time, leaving all the strings at tension, taking just the string that you need to restring, and then detuning that one first, and then putting the new string in, winding it up, and then doing the same thing for all the other ones, tuning them back up to tension as you go along. So basically, it's as if though you're detuning one string all the way down, waiting a minute, and then detuning that same string all the way back up. Essentially stretching the string so that there'll be no there's no tension response or anything wrong with the truss rod, and you'll be able to just kind of keep the playing relatively the same. You won't have to go back and adjust it. So we're gonna be starting with the high G string. We're just gonna detune it. See, I'm keeping all the other ones tensioned. And this helps keep track of which string it is, because the string sizes are so different that if you're kind of doing them one at a time, you can keep track of which one they are. D'Addario bass strings. I was using Ernie Ball, but these guys actually make a little bit more of a variety, so I like these guys. My guitarist also, excuse me, my guitarist also uses this brand of strings. So I don't know. We're not being paid by it, but it is a nice set. I'm also using 45 to 105. 45 and 65 is a regular gauge. The 85 and 105 is a little bit thicker, so I can go down to drop D. Fresh new pack. D'Addario also color codes their strings, so I think that's kind of cool. The green one is going to be our new G string, and if you compare, you guys can't see this, but if you compare the two strings, it's like one is white and one is black. That's just basically how dirty the old string is. Usually doesn't fly out like that. That happened because I unwound it and rewound it over and over again, so the winding got loose way too far, so I'm going to put it over here. Go ahead and clean as you do this. This is probably a great opportunity to kind of make sure everything is all tip-top in shape, is when the strings are off, and just go through and just kind of wipe everything down. So we've got the string brought through the bridge. Right here at the nut, so this is just a thing that I do to keep the nut lubricated. I take a pencil, and I will just kind of right in there with a little bit of lead, a little graphite, and that's just to keep things a little slick. You don't have to do that, but it's just something that I learned at the mom and pop shop. So the first thing that confuses people, and this confuses me too, is how much to cut off, because you don't want to cut off too much, obviously. You also don't want to cut off too little, because if you overwind it, it ends up kind of falling. It kind of goes over the bass there, and you get string noise. So I like to cut off about 4 inches. Sometimes a little bit less than that, because I like to get wind. I like to get a lot of wind, but just not too much wind. So I'm gonna cut off. Let's say 2 frets past, 2 frets past. Where my finger is, we're gonna cut a little bit right there. And now this is something I learned on YouTube, but I also like to bend first, and just kind of bend that. And then snip right above the bend. Okay, so we've got our string in there. We want to make sure that it's going over the saddle and the bridge. Just like we want to make sure that it's properly going in here and underneath the string tree. That's what this is called, so that it angles inward. Section that in there. Since it's bent, so it's going to take a little bit. There we go. Now, you want to wind either underneath or above. You know, I'm going to put it underneath like that. And just kind of get, oh, it slipped out. Alright, we're going to wind like this. Now, the tuning, the machine head, you want to turn it counterclockwise, so to the left, when they're facing you. So if the machine heads are facing you, turn them counterclockwise. And you want to make sure that the wind is going to go above the actual string angle. So I'll show you what that means. You want to wind underneath the initial circle wind, so you'll see that I'm using my finger here to kind of hold the string down. You don't want it to jump over. Right, gotten rid of the D string, and that one is coated black, so we're going to put that one through. Again, same method as the G. You kind of want to keep it underneath, make sure it's underneath the string tree, wound just the right way, into the bridge nut, like that, over on the bridge saddle. So, again, want to cut, let's see, about 2 worth, so that's about that much. Where my finger is, that's a good general. I like that. Like, just take 2 tuning pegs, put them in. Again, the spacing between tuning pegs varies, but this is a standard headstock. You'll see this headstock a lot. So, on a standard 4-string Fender headstock, about 2 pegs worth. All right, bring it around like this. So you can already see the color difference here. These are the newer strings, the older strings, really dirty. Taking off the A string now. Color code red for A string. Once again, we're gonna size about that much. That much. Bend it. They're gonna get a little harder to snip and bend is the thicker the gauges go. Now, when you get to the A string and you kind of get this, it's going to start slipping a little bit, pull the string towards you, kind of force a tight wind.
I mean, there is a point. Music sounds better than rock. Music sounds better than rock.
And finally, we got the old E string. Snipping right about that much. And there you have it. I think I have a little bit too much wind on the E and the A strings, so I'm going to go back and change them later. But if you see that my wind, my actual string wind is above the actual string. And that keeps it from buzzing. And if you ever if you actually do have string buzz, then check this first. This is usually the problem. So the strings are now on there. Just want to give them a bit of a stretch, tune them up. Stretch them, play a little bit, tune them up again, stretch them again, play a little bit. It's going to take a little bit of breaking in, but you should be good after that. This video is actually a part of a much larger video that has to do with boiling strings, as I mentioned earlier. So click on the annotation if you want to either go back to that video, if you were brought to this video from there, or if you want to check that video out. If you guys have any questions regarding the string change or strings in general, ask me on the questions down below. I'll try to get back to you on that, but reach me on Twitter, which is the best way. And I actually now also have a Facebook, so you can also like me and reach me on Facebook. Thank you, and I'll catch you guys next time.